Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's a recording of a class given by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, in Los Angeles, on January 2nd, 1974. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, and Text 5. So without further ado, we'll start the class. Please kick up the listening devices that you have, the volume of those. Sometimes the recording here, volume level is set a little low. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopijana Mahārāja Parīkṣit Goswami Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki Jai, Mahārāja Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sam Khund Radha Khund Giri Govardhan ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Navadvip Dham ki Jai, Ganga Mai ki Jai, Jamuna Mai ki Jai, Tulasi Devi ki Jai, Bhakti Devi ki Jai, Shāmavita Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. All glories to the Assembled. All glories to the Assembled. All glories to the Assembled. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Right. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Śaunaka uvāca. Kasya hetor nijagrāha kaliṁ digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra ko aso gam yaha padāhanat tat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. Śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha kaliṁ digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra koso gamyak padāhanat tat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. Śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha kaliṁ digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra koso gamyak padāhanat tat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. Śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha kaliṁ digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra koso gamyak padāhanat tat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. Śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha tat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. Śaunaka uvāca. Śaunaka Ṛṣi said, kasya, for what? Hetor, reason. Nijagrāha, sufficiently punished. kaliṁ, the master of the age of Kali. Digvijaye, during the time of his world tour. Nṛpaḥ, a king. Nṛdeva, royal person. Cihna-dhṛk, decorated like. Śūdra, lowest of the śūdras. Asau, he. Gam, cow. Yaha, one who. Padāhanat, struck by the leg. Tat, all that. Kathyatāṁ, please describe. Mahā-bhāga, O greatly fortunate one. Yadi, if however. Kṛṣṇa, about Kṛṣṇa. Kathāśrayam, related with his topics. Translation. Śaunaka Ṛṣi inquired, why did Mahārāja Parīkṣit simply punish him, since he was the lowest of the śūdras, having dressed as a king and harmed a cow with his leg? Please describe all these incidences as they relate to the topics of Lord Kṛṣṇa.
So, here the basic principle is yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. Devotees are interested to discuss something if it is helping us how we can become more and more attached to Kṛṣṇa. That is it. Otherwise, we are not interested in the matter of general principles of morality, social culture, ethics. They are required. But because this material world means it is a contaminated world, infected world. So, here in this material world, so-called morality or immorality is the same, because it is infected. Just try to understand. If there is an epidemic infection, so in that condition, first of all, what is the necessity? First thing is to disinfect the epidemic. In the infected area, you cannot derive any benefit by discussing morality or immorality. The man is dying out of infection. So, to an immediately dying person who is sure to die due to infection, what is the use of giving instruction of morality or immorality? He is going to die. Similarly, in this world, they have invented so many things, philanthropism, altruism, nationalism, thisism, thatism, but without Kṛṣṇa. It is the same position. Without Kṛṣṇa consciousness, he is going to hell, however moral he may be, however pious he may be, so-called. If he does not know Kṛṣṇa, it has no meaning. Therefore, the first condition was that we are interested to hear about Mahārāja Parīkṣit punishing the Kali, provided it helps us to advance in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Otherwise, we have no interest. This should be the principle of devotee. We can take part in everything, politics, sociology, or philanthropism, altruism. There are so many things they have discovered. Provided by taking part in that department of activities, we advance our Krishna consciousness. Otherwise reject, don't take part. You'll be implicated. That philosophy, technique, dhori maas nachui pani, that we should fish, but don't touch the water. If on the plea of fishing you fall down in the water and you are gone, washed away, then what is this? So sometimes we say that you take part in politics. Our business is not to take part in politics for acquiring big posts like president or secretary or attorney general. What will do then? We have no meaning for this post. Because for a devotee, what are these posts? Even the post of Lord Brahma or Indra, the heavenly king, it has no meaning. Vidhi Mahendradischya kitayate. That is stated by Padāhanat Saraswati. He says that Kaivallam narakayate. Kaivallam, the monism, to merge into the effulgence, absolute truth, to become one. That is called Kaivallam. Only spirit, that's all. So for a devotee, this Kaivalla perfection, monism, is as good as hellish condition of life. Kaivallam narakayate. And Tridasapura akasha puspayate. Tridasapur means the higher heavenly planets where big demigods live. Just like people are trying to go to this planet, that planet. So Tridasapur. Tridasa means 30. 3 dasa. 10 times, 3 times 10. So there are 30 millions of demigods. And they have got different planets also. So they are promised, if you come to this demigod's planet, Janti Deva Brata Devan, you will get so much happiness, you will live for so many years, you will have better standard of life, 1,000 times more than either. They are described in the Vedas. But a devotee says that this Tridasapura, this heavenly planet, is as good as phantasmagoria. They have no value for these things. So, this is the aspiration of the Kurmis, to elevate life to higher standard of life. As the world is going on, the struggle is going on for having a higher standard of life. But they are becoming implicated. Now there was bull-drawn cart or horse-drawn carriages. Now they have got nice cars also, but the problem is petrol. So the Kurmi world is like that. You create one kind of happiness, by side you create another kind of unhappiness. This is called Kurmi Yoga. Just like if you want to raise one big skyscraper building, then you have to dig somewhere to get the earth, to make the bricks and the iron. You cannot manufacture without taking help of the nature. So if you raise here, you must dig here. This is karma yoga. If you want to enjoy something extraordinarily, you must create another unhappiness extraordinary. This is called karmi. Therefore they are murhas. Murhas means rascals, asses. They do not know that by increasing every year new motor cars, I am creating another problem. If there is no petrol, then the whole business will be spoiled. That they do not know. And because they do not know, they are called asses. Mura. The effects they do not know. So, the Tidasapura going to the heavenly planet, just like they are going to the moon planet, but problems after problem, contemplating how to make a platform in the sky to get petrol. The problem is there. Not that very easily going. The problematic. Things are problematic. So, these kinds of plans, just like Ravana, he said, what is the use of? I become devotee. If you want to go to the heavenly planet, I shall make a solid staircase, reinforced concrete, and you can go there. There is no need of endeavoring for austerities, penance, no. So, these people are trying like Ravana, that we shall take you to the moon planet, Venus planet, this planet, and give us money. Now we spend, you go on spending. In future. So, these karmis are just like phantasmagoria, will-o'-the-wisp. And jnanis, they are also merging into the effulgence of Brahma. That is also another foolishness. Because actually nobody can remain in that. Just like we are feeling happy here because we have got so many friends here, ladies and gentlemen, and you are talking. Now, if it was vacant, nobody is here, sometimes in our temple, that's not very good. Nobody likes to sit. Is it fact? Every day. Because we are so many, it is very pleasing to sit there. So, by nature, a living entity wants society. Society, friendship and love, divinely bestowed upon man. That is required. And if you live in a forlorn place, nobody is there, no society, no friend, then how long you can stay there? You cannot stay. Just like if you go on the sky by aeroplane, after 4, 5, 6 hours, you become disturbed. When the plane will get down? This is natural. Why the plane? You are flying very nicely. There is no turmoil, no noise in the sky. Go nicely. No. Similarly, in the ship also, you travel for many days. So it will be disturbing. People are searching after when we shall land in some place. So living entity by nature, he wants association. Artificially he wants to, just like some of the devotees, they like that now we shall go in a solitary place and chant Hare Krishna. That is a different position. It is not possible for the ordinary man. So going to the Brahma effulgence, simply realizing that I am spirit soul, I have nothing to do, that will not be beneficial. It will again come down. Arujya kṛṣṇa parang padang tataha patanti adha anādrita jusmadangraya. If you do not get shelter, simply to remain in the impersonal Brahma effulgence will not make you happy. Artificially you can stay there for some time, otherwise you will again fall down in this material world for varieties of enjoyment. Because that impersonality is impersonal person, those who are attached to impersonal philosophy, they do not care to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They say it is Maya. To become impersonal is perfection. So they cannot remain in impersonal feature for a very long time. Because nature, we are part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa. The only fault is that we have tried to imitate Kṛṣṇa here in this material world. Otherwise, that instinct is there. Just like Kṛṣṇa is enjoying with gopis and Radharani. Because I am part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa, that instinct must be in me also, in minute quantity. But that must be in me. Therefore, we also want to enjoy with so-called lover or beloved or girls or boys. But we are trying to enjoy in a false platform, this material world. Therefore, we are becoming baffled. The same enjoyment is Kṛṣṇa is offering by his descendants, that if you want to enjoy like this in the society of beautiful young boys and girls, come to me, here it is, reality. But that they will know, that they will make impersonal. Being frustrated in this material platform, they want to make it zero, sunnavadi. Be disgusting, because you cannot be happy in this material enjoyment. So at times it will be disgusting. That is jnana bhumika. So we have tried our best. What is the use of this enjoyment? Brahma sattva jagan mithya, this is all false. Now let us become Brahma, become one with Brahma. But that is also false. That idea to become one with Brahma, that is also false. So reality is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Therefore, these sages, big, great sages, they are hearing Sutta Goswami. They ask the reason why the king, Mahārāja Parīkṣit, punished that Kali in the dress of a king. So, if possible, kindly describe the reason, and provided it will help our Kṛṣṇa consciousness. This is the condition. Yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam, if there is connection with Kṛṣṇa, just like the Bhagavad Gita, it is a topic on the battlefield. Sēnayo rūbhayor madhye rathasthāpayamai achyuta. Arjuna is asking Kṛṣṇa, please keep my chariot between the two flanks of armies. This is completely military proposal. But why you are interested to hear about Bhagavad Gita? Because kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. Because there is Kṛṣṇa Katha, there is instruction of Kṛṣṇa. Therefore he is interested. Otherwise, what is the use of hearing somebody is fighting with somebody and is asking his chariot driver, place my chariot in this position, let me see whom I shall have to fight. So, what is the use of? There is no use. People are interested in reading, but they are reading all so-called literature, poetry, But we are not interested in such kind of literature, because there is no Krishna Katha. We are interested in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because it is Krishna Katha. The same propensity, everyone wants to read something. So we also want to read something. But we read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita because there is Krishna Katha. We are not interested with any other rubbish literature. However nicely it is prepared. Tadvaga visarga janataga viplava. Janataga viplava jasmin pratishlokam avadhavatapi namani anantasya jasankitani jat sinnanti gayanti ginanti sadhava. That kind of literature where namani anantasya, the holy name of the Ananta, the Supreme Unlimited, namani anantasya, jasankitani, his glories are described. Such kind of literature, sinnanti, ginanti, gayanti, sadhava. That is interesting to the sadhava. They hear, they chant, sinnanti, gayanti, ginanti, and accept the philosophy. Tadvaga visarga janataga vipal jasmin pratisloka, even those verses are not very nicely composed from literary point of view, is still a sadhu who is saintly person. He will take interest of that kind of literature. And other literature, tadvayasa tirtham. Other literature, because there is no description of the Supreme Absolute, that is the pleasure place for the crows, tadvayasa tirtham. So we are not interested with such kind of literature. However, from literary point of view, from poetic point of view, they are very nicely written. If there is no Krishna Katha, there is no description of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no devotee should be interested. Even we do not touch the daily newspaper. Why? Because there is no Krishna Katha. What is the same thing? Puna puna chadvita chadvanara. Repeating the same. This man was stolen of his property. This politician has said like this, that politician has replied like this. There was disaster, there was fire, there was this. These news are full with newspaper, so many bunch of papers. So, who cares for it? So the Tadvayasam tirtham, crow-like men, not these swans, white swans. White swans, they go to the very clear water where there is nice garden, nice birds are chirping, nice fruits are there. You will find the white swans will go there in the park, and the crows will go where everything garbage, nasty things are thrown away. They will enjoy there. Even in the animals, the birds, you will find this distinction. Why the crow does not go to the nice garden? And why the swan does not go to the crow society? So, there are different classes of men. Crow society and swan society. The swan society is different from the crow society. How we can make equal? The people are try to make classless society. It is not possible to make classless society, because every living entity is being controlled by a different quality. So the qualitative distinction must be there. You cannot make them classless. It is all imagination. The crow class, the swan class, the pigeon class, the dog class, even in the animal, even in the birds, even in the plants. There is a plant, rose tree, and there are other plants. It is useless, no fruit, no flower. It is simply meant for becoming fuel. So by nature there are so many distinctions. You cannot make equal everything. This is called variety. But everything is required, provided one knows how to utilize it. And that is possible by Krishna conscious person, not by ordinary person. To accept all varieties of creation and engage them in Krishna's service. That is Krishna consciousness. So, the first condition is yadi, if kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. That should be the principle of devotees. Anything which has no connection with Krishna, we have no interest. Let it go. We are simply interested if it is related with Krishna. Nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe yukta vairāgamucca. Our principle is to follow the Goswamis. They have given two formulas, Rupa Goswami. Prapunchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna mumuksuvi parityaga phalgu vairāga kathati. Where there is connection of Krishna, if you can utilize it for Krishna, just like we are utilizing everything, this building we are utilizing, the chandelier we are utilizing, we are using this microphone and using paper and press, we are using everything. But why? For Krishna. We are not engaged here for singing cinema songs or like that. No. We can utilize this instrument for singing the glory of Krishna. Therefore we have to take advantage. Otherwise, but people, there are so-called tyagis. These people are using material things. This man is taking material advantage, at the same time he is condemning material advantage. We don't condemn. We simply teach people that utilize for Krishna. Nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe. We don't condemn. We don't say that don't manufacture this microphone. Yes, microphone, but use it for declaring glories of the Lord. Then it is fully utilized. That is our process, Krishna consciousness. So, we are not this so-called Mayavadi sannyasi, Brahma Sattva Jagan Mithya. Why Jagan Mithya? Mithya means false. They say the Jagat Mithya, this whole material world is false. We don't say false. We say it is temporary, and so long it is in use, you utilize it for Krishna. Then even this material world will be utilized for Krishna consciousness. This is our propaganda. We don't reject anything. Therefore, Rupa Goswami, prapunchikataya buddhya, Hari sambandhi vastuna, a thing which can be used for the service of Hari, Krishna, if it is given up as material, that vairāga, that renunciation is not very good. That renunciation, I have renounced everything. Just like amongst the Jain, they will not ride on car, they will walk. So our principle is not like that. No, we shall not take advantage of the motor car or the airplanes, these are all material, I shall walk. Why shall I walk? If I would not have taken the advantage of the aeroplanes, how I could preach Krishna consciousness all over the world so sweetly? We must take all advantage, but for Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. We shall encourage people. But the thing is that we may not forget. If by material opulence we forget Krishna, then that is suicidal. That is, therefore, we have to be little careful. We may drive the Rolls-Royce car, but may not identify with the car. And now I become Rolls-Royce. You are Chevrolet. I am Rolls-Royce. Don't become nonsense like that. Rolls-Royce car is different from you and Chevrolet car is also different from you. You can take advantage of them. Don't identify. They are identified with the matter. That is the defect. That is called Maya. He is not identifying with Krishna, that I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am not part and parcel of this Rolls-Royce car. If one keeps himself, awakened in this way, so in any condition of life, he is liberated. Any condition. That is also given by Rupa Goswami. Ihādasya harer dāsya karmana manasa vāca nikhileshu api avasthasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. Iha means desire. Just anybody's desire is always thinking how to serve Krishna. How to serve Krishna with whole world paraphernalia. Is planning. Such person. Ihādasya harer dāsya. His main aim is how to serve Krishna. Karmana manasa vāca. One can serve Krishna by his activities, karmana, by mind, by thinking, by planning how to do it nicely. Mind is also required. Karmana manasa vāca, and by words, how preaching. Such person, nikhileshu api avasthasu, in any condition of life, he may be. He may be in Vrindavan or he may be in hell. He has nothing to do with anything else except with Krishna. Jivan mukta sa uchyate, he is always liberated. That is required. Therefore, it is said, yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. If this description, which I am asking you, what is the reason that Parīkṣit Mahārāja was going on his tour, royal tour? What business he had to punish one man who dressed like a king and trying to kill cows? So why he was interested? Is it for Krishna or for his personal interest? If it is for Krishna, then please, kathyatāṁ, mahā-bhāga, you are most fortunate, please describe this. And another point is, nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk. Nṛdeva, ni means human being, and deva means God. So the king is considered as God in the human society. Just see what should be the position of the king. And how much qualified he must be. Because a king is supposed to be representative of God to develop Krishna consciousness of the people. That is king's duty. Therefore he is called nṛdeva. Anyone who is trying for Krishna to make people Krishna conscious, he is representative of Krishna, real representative. Therefore, Guru is offered the respect exactly like Krishna. Sakshat harittena samasta shastri ruktas tatha bhavata. Because he is kintu prabhuja priyayevatas. He is doing the most confidential service, Krishna. Krishna wants everyone to surrender to him. And the spiritual master is doing the same. Please surrender to Krishna. Therefore, he is the most confidential servant of Krishna. He should be honored as Krishna. That is the duty of the king also. Everyone should come forward. The father, the mother, the king, the spiritual master, upon whom the instruction of the disciples of the subordinate wards is depending. They should be all Krishna conscious. Therefore it is said, nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk. And he was punished because although he dressed himself like a king, but he had no responsibility. Therefore, nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk, śūdra, he was actually śūdra, and he was taking the place of a king. Therefore, he should be punished. This is the duty of the government. Nobody can cheat. If you dress like such and such person, you must deal also honestly, otherwise you will be punished. Thank you very much. Chant.
Jai. Wonderful lecture by Srila Prabhupada. Apparently, after the end, they started chanting Yashimati-nandana Bhagavanaga. Very nice tune and very nice song. Anyway, but that came after. The lecture itself, it's one of the longer ones. It's wonderful. Usually we get lectures about 30-something minutes. This was about 10 minutes longer. We got so much more than from this particular one. This is the time, dear devotees, to unmute yourself if you have questions to ask, if you have takeaways that you want to share, or some things that you can connect with other things that you knew about. You can, in fact, unmute yourself. So we'll start with dear Krishna Prabhu. We raised his hand. Please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu, for playing this wonderful class by Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
So, I was I think towards the beginning or middle, Srila Prabhupada did mention how living entity, or especially humans, we all are social. We want to, uh, live in a society with connections and all that. And
Yeah.
that's why Srila Prabhupada made this wonderful ISKCON society for devotees. But sometimes, if in spite of getting this wonderful process, we see due to our uh, mind, we want to pick few things, but leave other things, not accepting the whole process wholeheartedly, and we end up mixing the things, and then if on the name of preaching or reaching out, we make it all mix up things sometimes. um, how to how to how to avoid that? I mean, what we get everything in this society. We get devotees, we get the process, we get prasadam, we get fun, everything is there. If then how to avoid that kind of mentality? Is that due to association or our own mind? I'm just trying to understand, Prabhu.
Yeah, you probably answered the question. It's actually our own mind. Krishna consciousness is literally about Krishna, and everything about Krishna is transcendental. everything about Krishna is related to the way things are in the spiritual world. So if you want to go back home, we have to accept all of it. We cannot accept part of it and leave other parts, because like saying Srila Prabhupada is only partly believable, and in other ways, he's not believable. But that is not the case. So anyone that does that, it becomes a manashiksha situation, instructions to the mind. The intelligence can kick in and tell the mind, please accept everything the way it is. Krishna has also said, the extent to which we surrender to the process, that is. That means the more we believe in the process, the more we accept the process, he will reward accordingly, which means that if we don't take it wholeheartedly and take all of it wholeheartedly, then, as Krishna has also promised in Bhagavad Gita, he will only partly reveal himself. To the extent that we want to surrender, that's the extent he will reveal himself. Then one thing that definitely gets cut off is happiness. We won't be spiritually happy. The happiness that comes from the heart, that won't be there. And then all of a sudden, our Krishna consciousness will begin to be dry. One thing leads to another. So when we're going down, we should have that bell go on in our heads. Danger, 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 danger. That's my sweet master that says, if we've done something short of all that's required in Krishna consciousness, a bell should go in our mind, in our head, saying, we're headed for danger. We're headed for the side of a cliff. So it's not to be, Krishna consciousness is not to be taken piecemeal. Krishna consciousness is to be accepted wholly. Sometimes, and it's an important point, leads to another point that I'd like to, with your permission, bring up. Because sometimes people look at the society that we're in and they say, well, there's something wrong with this society. Some people are behaving in some ways that's not acceptable. Therefore, there's something wrong with the society. One of the things we need to remember is the teachings of a society are 100% legitimate and clean, but the devotees are conditioned. And everybody that's conditioned has a lower nature. The higher nature is there. The higher nature is connecting. We're purifying the higher nature to connect with Krishna consciousness. But the lower nature does not go overnight. Therefore, there are some times that devotees behave in ways that are not acceptable, or to put it mildly, not nice. It does not mean there's something wrong with society. This is why we have purification. People go through the purification process. People are constantly going through the purification process. So that's expected to be there. This is the process we clean. One doesn't get in the shower and all of a sudden they clean. No, they have to use a sponge, they have to use soap, they have to use water, and they have to wipe themselves before they clean. All that process has to be, embarked on with the help and the guidance of a spiritual master. And so that is what we're talking about now, is what we have to tell the mind. This is a process we're going through. I'm going through mine for purification, and other devotees that I see do the wrong thing sometimes, they also do the right thing sometimes. Sometimes you see everybody in the temple, and everybody's singing and everybody's dancing. Everybody's doing the right thing then. So it's not like devotees do the wrong thing all of the time. No, we're going through purification. And it's actually better to appreciate the good things that devotees do and understand that the lower nature activities, that's a process that over time will be wiped out. There is a process, and that is the same Krishna consciousness. Over time, it will be wiped out. If you stay with it, you're going to get clean. If you stay, just have to stay with it, do the chanting, do the serving, and associate with devotees. And more importantly, in association with devotees, respect them. If you do not respect them, your own Krishna consciousness will go down. There's no doubt about that. I've lived in Krishna consciousness long enough to see it happen to so many people, some of whom are God brothers and God sisters, and some of whom are devotees of other gurus. It's like Krishna is very serious about that point. The extent to which we take Krishna consciousness seriously, he takes us seriously. If we don't, he doesn't. He doesn't. And it's not like Krishna is being inconsiderate or unkind. No. Sometimes we forget we're in jail. We are prisoners trying to get reform. And so if prisoners do the wrong thing, what you expect? The gods will praise them? Of course not. They're going to get our ears pulled. So only when we do the right thing will we be closer to parole, to get out. And if we don't, well, then we're staying as, remember, 8,400,000 bodies. Krishna is not short of bodies at all for next life and the next life and the life after that. So it all depends on how seriously we take things. Hare Krishna. Thank you for bringing this point up.
Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderfully explained with examples. Thank you so much. Yeah, you
Krishna.
so right. I mean, if I think about it more, when we are not doing the right things or all mixing it up, definitely the happiness, the real happiness, is missing in our life.
Yeah, that's what
Thank you.
happens. Yeah.
Thank you for the
Hare,
explanation, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Glory to the Prabhupada. That's the realization I had this morning. Why are things going so wrong? It says, we are in prison. What you expect? I was talking to my mind. What you expect? Be a model prisoner yourself, and they'll get you out. But if you don't, then just add to the confusion that's going on. It's not doesn't help at all. Devotees have the right thing to do. They just have to apply it. That's all. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Okay, so in the meantime, the Buddhists are thinking about it. I put down some notes from this. Srila Prabhupada, so many examples he gives from the lectures are so fascinating. I'll just share some of what I have. Devotees, Srila Prabhupada, at least from where I started taking notes, they are interested in topics that help them to become more attached to Krishna. So that's the consciousness that we should have. We should be more interested in topics that help us to become attached to Krishna. Now, one important point that people take so seriously, materialists, but Srila Prabhupada shot it down. He said in the material world, morality and immorality are both infected. So disinfection is required first. When a person is going to die, what's the use of morality? So we are interested Mahārāja Parīkṣit and Kali, that situation with Mahārāja, we are interested in something like that. Mahārāja Parīkṣit and then Kali, what happened there, it would be important to us only because it helps us with the advancement in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we're not interested in that. And then he talked about politics. We may be interested in politics, but not for material gain. Monism, or merging into the absolute, is only as good as hellish life. This is how the Buddhists see it. And then he talked about demigods, 30 million demigods with their planets. It's promised to people who are connecting with them that their heavenly planets will give extended life and more sense gratification. But the Buddhists are not interested. So, of course, that means even if the heavenly planets, we have to fall back to the medium type planets. We don't go back to Godhead. So that's why the Buddhists are not interested. In karmic life, something is created, but alongside of that, something unhappy also occurs. He gave an example of building a skyscraper. But in order to build a skyscraper, you have to dig somewhere. So you want to build something that goes up, but in doing so, you have to dig something that makes a hole, a big hole, to get materials from nature. You give another example about cars. More and more and more new cars are built, but the petrol won't last forever. And more cars means more gas, more petrol is needed, and if the petrol is depleted, then that's what's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. Problems will arise. And people that don't go by what Krishna says to do and want to do things themselves, he gave an example of Ravan. He said, Ravan said, there's no need for austerity, even to go to the heavenly planets. that he said he would construct a solid staircase, then we all can go. Trying to bypass it, but of course it wasn't possible. He never got to do that. When we travel in an aircraft, after a while, again, this is to introduce us to this example, introduced to spiritual association, how important that is. So he gave the example of aircraft. When you travel, the passengers start thinking about when the aircraft will land. Anybody that's been in the aircraft has that experience. Similarly, we can go to the Brahman effulgence, but with no association, we will want to be with others. So then they had to come down. So we cannot be impersonal. We have to try to enjoy in Krishna's company. That's what he wants us to be about. We are supposed to enjoy with Radha and Krishna, but we are trying it in the material world in the wrong place and with impersonalism to boot. So, and then others too who say it's all zero. People are trying in the material world, they're not enjoying authentically, so then they say it's all zero. Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya, Jagan, the universe, it's false. So, Sri Prabhupada also gave an example of Arjuna asking Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra to put his chariot in between the armies. Now, he brought that point up because he says it's only interesting because Kṛṣṇa-kathā followed that action. This is where Krishna started speaking Bhagavad Gita, right after he pulls the chariot between the armies, and Arjuna got frustrated. Arjuna got confused about his function, and then that allowed Krishna to begin to preach what turned out to be Bhagavad Gita to him. So the activity of pulling the chariot in between the two armies was connected to Kṛṣṇa-kathā. So the point that Prabhupada is making is that our activities, even if it looks material, has to be connected with Krishna consciousness. Then it becomes more important. It includes our literature. We're interested in Krishna literature. So the literature doesn't have any description for Krishna as the literature for the crows. So no devotee should be interested in that. Newspapers have mundane news, so devotees don't care for that. Devotees should act like swans. Swans like nice areas, but the crows go for the filth. So the qualitative distinction must be there. So there are, even in creation, in nature, in plants, to give an example, some of them don't have any fruits or flowers, so they only as good as they're just meant to be used for fuel. But of course, the ones that produce fruits and flowers, they help in our own sustenance. So we have to use everything for Krishna. Everything. Microphone, paper, everything. Then he says sometimes we get criticized that we're using material things. No, we don't condemn material products. We just say use it for Krishna. So take advantage of all the products, but for Krishna consciousness. Don't identify with material things, thinking oneself like a Rolls Royce car. The Buddha started laughing. You are a Rolls Royce, I'm a Chevrolet, and so, but we're not cars. The desire should be how to serve Krishna with the whole world's process, or not process, but products. So a person that has nothing to do with, material things, but just uses them for Krishna, that kind of person is liberated. Even Mahārāja Parīkṣit, when he confronted Kali, the purpose was for Krishna. So the king is nṛdeva, a representative of Krishna. Similarly, Guru is also doing work for Krishna, asking all to surrender to Krishna. That's why the Guru is also respected as a representative of Krishna. So that's some of the what I got from the this particular lecture, which is nice, long, so many points were discussed. Any final comments or questions? We're a little past the hour now. Any final comments or questions? If not, then first of all, I'm glad that Prabhupada Vani.org is back online. He was off for about a couple of weeks. But that's material things. Sometimes, they work, sometimes they don't work. Spiritual things in the spiritual world, all the time they're working, and they work nicely too. Anyway, when in time we'll get there. Hare Krishna. So have a nice rest of your week. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank all of you for coming and have a nice, wonderful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna.